House Casterly were never kings of the Westerlands, but their strong position within Casterly Rock allowed them to become the richest lords in all of Westeros and the greatest power in the West, and they remained so for hundreds of years. By then, the Dawn Age had given way to the Age of Heroes. That is when the golden-haired rogue called Lann the Clever appeared from out of the east. Some say he was an Andal adventurer from across the narrow sea, but this was thousands of years before the coming of the Andals to Westeros. In reality, there is no real way to know the truth of Lann's origins, but no matter of his origins, the tales all agree that somehow Lann the Clever winkled the Casterlys out of their rock and took it for his own. The method by which he accomplished this remains a matter of mystery, and forever will be. In the most common version of the tale, Lann discovered a secret way inside the rock, a cleft that was so narrow that he had to strip off his clothes and coat himself in butter to squeeze through. Once inside, however, he began working his mischief, whispering threats into the ears of sleeping Casterlys, howling from the darkness like a demon, stealing treasures from one brother to plant them in the bedchamber of another. By such methods, he set the Casterlys at odds with one another, and convinced them that the rock was haunted by some foul creature that would never let them live in peace. Other tellers prefer other versions of the tale. In one, Lann uses a cleft to fill the rock with mice, rats, and other vermin, thereby driving the Casterlys out of the rock. In another, he smuggled a pride of lions inside, and Lord Casterly and his sons were all devoured, after which Lann claimed his lordship's wife and daughters for himself. The bawdiest of the stories has Lann stealing in night after night to have his way with the maidens while they slept. In 9 months' time, these maids all gave birth to golden-haired children, while still insisting they had never had carnal knowledge of a man. The last tale, as scandalous as it is, has a certain intriguing aspect that might hint at the truth of what occurred. It's Archmaester Periston's belief that Lann was a retainer of some sorts in service to Lord Casterly, who impregnated his lordship's daughter and persuaded her father to give him the girl's hand in marriage. If indeed this is what occurred, assuming that Lord Casterly had no true-born sons, the natural course of events is the rock would have passed to the daughter, and hence Lann upon the father's death. There is, to be sure, no more historical evidence for this than any other version, but the mechanics of this kind of event have been seen throughout history to even the modern day. All that is known for certain is sometime during the Age of Heroes, the Casterlys vanished from the chronicles, and unknown until this point House Lannister appeared in their place. Lann the Clever supposedly lived to the age of 312. And sired hundreds of bold sons and hundreds of lissom daughters, all fair of face, clean of limb, and blessed with hair as golden as the sun. But such tales aside, the histories suggest that the early Lannisters were fertile as well as fair, for many names began to appear in the chronicles, and within a few generations, Lann's descendants had grown so numerous that even Casterly Rock could not contain all of them. Rather than tunnel out new passages, some sons and daughters from lesser branches of the house left to make their homes in a village scant a mile away. The land was fertile, the sea teeming with fish, and the site had been chosen due to its excellent natural harbour. Soon enough, the village grew into a town and then a city, Lannisport. Even today, many of the small folk could trace a small amount of their blood back to House Lannister in some way, and many Lannister bastards decided to settle there. By the time the Andals came to Westeros, Lannisport had become the second biggest city in the land. Only Old Town was larger and richer, and trading ships from every corner of the world were sailing up the western coast to call upon the Golden City on the Sunset Sea. Gold had made House Lannister rich. Trade made him richer still. The Lannisters of Lannisport prospered, built great walls around their city to defend it from those who sought to steal their wealth, at this point mostly iron-born raiders, and soon they became kings of the Westerlands. The maesters of the Citadel are rightly so skeptical that Lann even existed, never mind what tales of his are likely to be true. If Lann did sneak into the rock and use trickery to remove the Casterlys, or inherited it via marriage, one thing can be said. From him spawned one of the oldest, richest, and most famous houses of Westeros, who still hold great power in the modern times. Even to this day, some members of House Lannister and the men and the women who served them inside the rock still claim that Lann still haunts Casterly Rock to this day.